The both tension cylinders, right side and left side, are mounted behind the canvas here. They are arguably the hardest ones to remove, but it's really not difficult if you let us show you how. And you're not afraid of riveting, then it's really simple. So don't let the rivets scare you. It's a really simple tool, and we'll show you how it's done. So we first pull the weather stripping. I had already loosened it, that's why it came loose so easily. And then there is one single rivet over here that we need to drill out. It's an 1/8 of an inch by 1/4 inch rivet, meaning 1/8 inch diameter rivet. It's just aluminum, really easy to drill through. So I'll put some paper towel under here and get a drill and just quickly drill out this rivet. The paper towel is just to prevent metal shavings from falling into the car. So we'll just catch them here. 1/8 inch drill. Rivet is drilled out. Now, next step, blow a little bit, get the metal shavings out of the way so they don't possibly scratch up the paint on our car. Then there's this plastic channel that gets pushed down first, then pulled out. And I'll show you why. It has these 1, 2, 3 hooks. Again, pushing down, then pulling out will free up this plastic bracket and expose the cylinder, which we'll show you from another angle in a minute. And this one rivet is enough to expose all the parts that we need access to. Theoretically, one could remove this cylinder without taking the rivet out. I would not recommend it. It's just too much guesswork, and feeling in the dark room is too tight. So one rivet drilled out. Actually, the Chrysler service manual tells you to drill out 3 rivets, which would be this one on the bottom and this one on the top as well, just so that you can fold the top back some more. It's not really needed. So we're now down to removing the bottom mounting clip, top mounting clip, pulling out the top mounting pin, pulling out the cylinder backwards. Then we push the cylinder off the pin that is welded onto the frame here, so just push towards the inside. Then we take out the travel sensors, then the hoses, and let's just show you in all detail now. Here's our rear bow cylinder, top mounting pin clip. We push our small flat screwdriver in there, which spreads it apart, and the clip comes straight off the pin. Then we push this pin, pull the pin out towards the outside. Try to catch this washer, and we have the pin out. Now we do the same thing on the bottom. Slide our screwdriver in, pull the pin up, pull out the little plastic washer. Now we free the cylinder on the top, push it towards the inside, and there it is. Now we're down to taking the hoses off and taking the travel sensors off. Now look at the way this is done. The hoses are routed through a channel, making the hose 22 is making a U-turn here. So keep in mind that hose 22 goes towards the blunt end of the cylinder, hose 21 that way. If we were on the other side, it would be hoses 24 and 23. So let's see if we can get these hoses out without undoing the channels at all. I have not practiced this. It's just learning life on the spot. I'm first trying to pry this clip loose, but that didn't work well enough, so I will instead, it's not that easy to do it in front of the camera without getting my body in the way. I will tap this loose. There comes my clip. I put it in a safe place, and I can, once I have the other clip loose, I can pull both hoses at the same time. I'm an optimist. I always try to find a little gap here, but it's not. Yep, it might be happening. Nope. So let's go the safe route and tap on it. Again, trying not to get into the picture too much here. Tapped on the clip that moved it off the hose fitting like a 30/2 of an inch, and that's enough to pry in here. Pull out the clip, put it in a safe place, pull out my hoses. There we go. Now let's take a look at the travel sensors. The shorter wires are with the sensor that's on the blunt end of the cylinder. So let's just try to remember not to mix them up when we install them on the replacement cylinder. Very gently I'm prying this screwdriver under here so that I don't damage this fancy sensor. There they are, they come out of the rail, and I have my cylinder freed up. Again, cycle the fluid out of it, holding it over a garbage can so that you don't squirt yourself right here on the spot. I certainly don't want to squirt myself on camera here, so again, cycle the shaft in and out a couple times to get the fluid out, but do it over a garbage can. Meanwhile, we put in the replacement cylinder, and we're going to use this one. I had a couple on hand. Let's put the travel sensors back in first. That was the one with the shorter wires, goes on the blunt end of the cylinder, which is currently the bottom, but the cylinder is mounted upside down, so it's a little confusing. The longer wires on the shaft end of the cylinder. Hose 22 on the blunt end of the cylinder. Now I first put an O-ring on the hose. If I can remember where I put it, right there. I put it in a safe place. So Top Hydraulics always ships these cylinders with O-rings for the ports or for the hose connection. The trick, the essential part is to put the O-ring on the hose fitting first. Just slide it on the bottom tube of the fitting, then gently put the tube into the cylinder. No wiggling, no hard pushing, it just slides in easily at a right angle. Secure the hose with a clip. I'm just pushing the clip on right now, and I'll tap it on hard later. Now I secure the top hose. Give it a little tap. Do the last push with the screwdriver. There we go, this one is in place. This one is in place. And here we are, we have travel sensors and hoses back on. Now all we need to do is put the cylinder back in place. Pretty easy, right? Starts out with hoses in place, travel sensors in place. We put the bottom rod end on this welded pin on the frame first, then let's not forget the washer that we took off earlier. Then we slide the clip back onto the bottom mounting pin. Zip, that's in place. Now for the top, our washer, we want to slide it in together with the cylinder because it's hard to squeeze the washer in after the cylinder is in place. We have this lined up pretty well. Let me wiggle it around a little bit with the screwdriver. There. And push the pin through. And put the clip on, and the cylinder is in place. Now we're down to putting this plastic guard bracket back on. Put it on, slide it up. Get an 1/8 inch rivet. 1/8 inch by 1/4 is what seems to be working really well here. You just put that rivet in, then you put your riveter on and click, it's in place. Riveting is really easy. You can buy, if you don't have a riveter, just buy the cheapest assortment you can find. $20 may already get you a cheap riveter with an assortment of rivets, and that's well worth it to save all this time. You could theoretically think about getting a sheet metal screw through here, but it takes up a bunch of room. You would then have to grind the head a little bit, so it's easiest to just get yourself a riveter with an 1/8 inch rivet, and the job is done really easily. Last thing we do is push this molding back into place, and we center it. You will see that the upper part of the molding sticks up a little bit above the frame. The lower part sticks down a little bit. We pretty much center this 1/4 inch above and 1/4 inch below. Then we push and massage and push and massage and keep pushing this molding into place. If you find that yours is kind of worn and doesn't stay in place, then you can put some RTV or some kind of glue into the groove and and let it cure overnight. But in this case, we're lucky enough it stays just where it's supposed to be. And was that difficult? I don't think so. Pretty good, huh? Ta-da!